Begins when a child is born. When a child is born, the child is tender, is little, and is cared for by his or her parents. They take care of the child, they provide for the child, they give the child everything that the child wants, everything that the child needs, everything that the child requires. But as time goes on, it is expected, or the parents begin to expect, that that same child can in turn help them. So like the child can probably, as the child grows up, when the child is like 2, 3, they can begin to send the child, go and bring me a cup, go and bring me a spoon, go and do this. The child is growing up, they're expecting the responsibility on that child also to be increasing, because the child is growing up. The child is growing up, so the things the child could do when the child was 1 year is not the same. And that's the same thing with us in Christ. When we just became born again, we realized that God could give us anything. We'll just go to God and say, Father, give me this. I'm praying and it's given to you. God could do this. But as you begin to grow in Christ, God is expecting that you begin to take up certain kind of responsibilities. That's the expectation of every father on their child. That as the child begins to grow up, the child can take up responsibilities. The child can be like, okay, I'm the one doing this, I'm the one doing that. Now you realize that when that child grows up in the home, it's not the parents that come and say, start washing plates. The child just grows up and says, okay, it means I have to start washing plates. And that's the same thing with us in Christ. But you have so many of us who have spent a lot of years in Christ but have not grown up to start taking responsibilities in Christ. You could actually measure your growth in Christ with the responsibilities you are handling for Christ. Now if you are not handling any responsibility for Christ, what does that make you? Does that continue to make you a baby? And how long do you intend to be a baby? How long do you intend to remain a small child that is being catered for? At one moment, God is expecting that you grow up. God is expecting that you grow up to become a child that can pick up responsibilities and do. But a lot of us are void of that. A lot of us just want to be, just want to be normal. We just want to be okay. We just want to be like, okay, I'm just a child of God. But a child grows, and a child has to take responsibility as a child is growing up. You cannot be a child and remain stagnant without growing. Imagine in the normal physical scenario that child remains, as a child is growing, the child is not doing anything. What would you think the parents would be like? No, you can't do that. They will probably think that there's something wrong with the child, carry the child to the hospital, to the pastor, to anybody to pray for the child, something like that. So it's very important that as we are growing in Christ, we are growing in responsibility. You can just sit back and do a check. What am I doing for God at this instant? What responsibility am I taking for God? What is that thing that is me that is handling for God? And so it's very important. If you've never sat back and thought about that, this is a time where you could sit back and really reflect on it. A lot of us would just be like, I've been 10 years in the Lord, I've been 20 in the Lord. The goal is not to be the number of years you are. The goal is that as you've been 10 years, we're expecting to see that the responsibility of a 10-year-old person in Christ is what you are handling. And even God is waiting for the day that you be like, okay, I'm handling this thing. All right, guys, thank you guys.